Erling Haaland is not human, and his form for both Manchester City and Norway is proof of that.
As well, Haaland! Some finish that from Erling Haaland!
There are moments in football where you have to just stop and appreciate that you are witnessing greatness, that you are watching an all-timer right in front of your eyes.
At his age, no one can compete with him. No one. So the numbers speak for himself, and
that's where Haaland is right now. For Manchester City, he's already shattered every expectation that came with the hype.
If you want to build from scratch the perfect centre forward, he is it. He is the perfect guy.
But what he's done with Norway might actually be even more impressive, because for the first time in almost 3 decades, Norway are going to a World Cup, and they're doing it because of him. To put into perspective, the last time Norway were at the World Cup, Haaland's dad was still playing. Talk about being an unk. Norway have spent the last 30 years stuck in nostalgia. The heroes of 1998, the unforgettable win over Brazil. But that generation has finally been replaced, and the face of the new one is exactly who you would expect.
Haaland! And the record now solely belongs to him. Norway's greatest goal scorer.
Det var jo en stor kveld for meg. Den rekord som stande lenge og
Look at Norway's qualifying record. They won every single game. They had a plus 32 goal difference. They scored 29 goals in the first 6 qualifiers. And of course, guess who was the top goal scorer? Erling Haaland. 16 goals in 8 games. That's more than double what the next top goal scorer in the continent had. The guy is a cheat code. He scored against Estonia.
Well, you cannot keep him off the score sheet, can you?
Got a hat-trick against Israel, and then got a brace against his club teammate Donnarumma at the San Siro. He absolutely dunked on those lasagna-loving freaks. When Norway beat Israel 5-0, Haaland missed 2 penalties, and yet he still got a hat-trick. I'm telling you guys, this guy's a robot. I'm not even talking about the goal scoring. Just the fact that he was able to forget those penalty losses and continue getting goals. Yeah, normal human beings don't have that ability. Even when Martin Odegaard was injured, Haaland showed up. He provided not just goals, but leadership, which is why I found it very weird that in this post, they put Odegaard on the front like he wasn't injured the whole time. Haaland just kept scoring. Hat-trick here, a pair of headers there, penalties, counterattacks, all of it, every single game. To be fair, this isn't new. He's been scoring for Norway for years. At the Under-20 World Cup, he was the top scorer for Norway, and he scored 9 goals in 1 match against Honduras. Then for the senior national team, he's always had more goals than games. For years, Haaland had been doing superhuman things, but not that many people were noticing. Since 2020, he's been one of the best players on the planet, breaking records, scoring goals that don't even make sense, and dominating entire leagues. But Norway in that period kept missing the Euros and the World Cup, so the casuals didn't really get to see him play. Sure, the football freaks would know about his journey. They would know him from Football Manager or Career Mode. Maybe these guys spend the weekend watching Dortmund. But the average fan, the guy who only watches the big tournaments, they barely got a taste. I mean, there's not that many people watching the Bundesliga, let alone watching it week in, week out. Haaland was building a legendary CV, but he was doing it away from the one stage where every football fan in the world watches the same matches at the same time. Well, the World Cup changes that. This is the moment that the whole world finally sees the robot in action. And the best part is that the casuals are gonna love him. And why wouldn't they? He's a freak athlete. The guy's like 6'5", but he runs like a cheetah. He outpaces everyone, he outmuscles everyone, and he can even outjump everyone. Everybody loves a physical alien, especially the Americans, and that's where the World Cup is going to be. But the craziest part about Haaland isn't even his physical qualities. It's the fact that on top of all of that, he's got an incredible eye for goal. His football IQ is insane. He almost never gets caught offside. His positioning is elite. He just appears exactly where he needs to be.
But it's taken for granted.
Yes.
Because he does it ever so well. And he makes it look easy. You're like, oh yeah, well, it's Haaland.
Yeah.
Well, it's not normal.
And even when people were slandering him for not getting many touches at City, he didn't care. He understood his assignment.
That's the problem that Haaland has now, because he's not just getting judged with his goals, he's getting judged with his link-up and all-round play.
What you expect from him is goals. So if you don't get goals, you will say he didn't have a good day.
In the first half, you only had 7 touches, 2 of those were goals. Are we underestimating how difficult that is when you're not involved in the game, but to then go and score 2 goals like that?
I still think I'm involved in the game, doing movements and giving space to others.
He knew that his job wasn't to have 60 touches a game. It was to score the goals no one else could score.
I should not be interrupting them too much with all the dribblings and passes, you know. I'm a striker, so I want to be in the box as much as possible. Of course, I don't want to go out on the side. What should I do there? You know, we have other players doing that, you know, so I'm not the one that's gonna create chances. I have my role in the team.
That kind of maturity at such a young age is very rare to see. Many other players might have thrown their manager under the bus or said that they can do more, but Haaland accepted the instructions he was given and understood what his role was in Pep Guardiola's system. Even though he has absolutely dominated for City, even though he has won 2 Premier League Golden Boots in his first 3 seasons and is most likely gonna make it 3 and 4, there are still people who don't realize the greatness we're watching. And a big part of that is because international football always shapes a player's image. If he pops off at the World Cup, his entire PR is gonna change overnight. And by PR, I mean his global perception, his public relation. This is a guy who was the Champions League top scorer at 20 years old. He reached 50 Champions League goals faster than anyone else. He's gonna hit 100 Premier League goals faster than anyone ever. These are not normal achievements. They're stuff that only all-timers are capable of getting. In 2023, his greatness got drowned out a bit because there was the World Cup and because he didn't score in the big Champions League knockout moments, even though he had dominated in earlier rounds. City won the treble, but players like KDB, Rodri, and even Pep himself got most of the attention. In 2024, he won the Golden Boot again, and City won the league again, but that season became more known about Foden and Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or. So again, Haaland didn't get that global moment. But now, this season, there's no hiding him. Erling Haaland is the face of Manchester City. Look at where their goals come from. It's Haaland and own goal. Finally, City are playing to his strengths. They're more direct, more aggressive, more vertical, because they know that Haaland destroys teams that way. Now, on top of this incredible domestic form, he's finally going to the World Cup. Finally on the biggest stage. Finally with the world watching. Because contrary to what other people have to say, no, this is not just a 7-game tournament. All he needs now is one big performance at any global stage. It can be the Euros, it can be the World Cup, and then one more banging season with City. One where he's the main guy and the face of the team and the main leader as they win a title. And then at that point, the casuals are going to see what the hardcore fans already know. And that's that we're watching one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. Think about it, Haaland might actually break Cristiano Ronaldo's all-time international goals record. For the longest time, everybody treated Cristiano's 140 plus goals for Portugal as this untouchable thing. Like this amazing record that nobody was ever going to get close to. When it's all said and done, Ronaldo's probably going to finish around 150 international goals. And many people assumed that this number would stand for generations. But then Haaland showed up and suddenly that record doesn't look so safe anymore. He got 55 goals in his first 48 games for Norway, which is just insane. That's a goal per 71 minutes. That's right, I can do quick math. And to put that into perspective, Ronaldo needed double the minutes per goal during his Portugal career. Haaland is scoring at a pace that shouldn't even be real at the international level. And keep in mind, he's in his mid-20s. In the World Cup qualifiers, he got 16 goals in 8 games, tying Lewandowski for the most goals in a qualifier. And keep in mind, Leva had played more games. No matter the opponent, no matter the situation, Haaland just shows up and scores. He's genuinely one of those players that you can throw on any team and he'll get you a goal. They can play possession, counter-attacking style, they can be mid-table, it doesn't matter. He'll just score. Even if he keeps half of this pace going, he could break Cristiano's record by the time he's 30 or 31. Even if he slows down massively and goes back to his normal scoring rate, which is still insane, he'd break it in his early 30s anyway, and he'd do it with way fewer matches than Homelander needed. This is why I say he's not human, and this is why Norway looks like a legitimate contender on the international stage. I'm just glad he's getting his flowers, because we have come a long way since his first season at City. Before he came to England, Haaland was coming off the back of 2.5 years of incredible performances at Borussia Dortmund. He got 86 goals in 89 games, and pretty much physically dominated every single opponent that he faced. Dortmund relied on him more on the ball, not just to score goals but to also create chances. He was a very different striker than the one that we saw in his first few seasons at City. He broke the top speed record in the Bundesliga by running at 36.04 kilometers per hour, and the physical attributes that he once lacked when he was a kid were now his best qualities as he began his rise to superstardom. At that point, most people knew Haaland's name.
It does seem like everybody in world football is talking about him and would love him to sign for them.
I think that this guy can go anywhere and make things happen for anybody. Now it seems to pick and choose.
He's a striker that every big club in Europe has wanted to sign.
Yeah.
It was inevitable that he was going to move to an even bigger club.
Breaking news here from Manchester City is that Manchester City have confirmed they've reached an agreement in principle for the signing of Erling Haaland.
They have now officially announced the signing of Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. The news that Erling Haaland, according to reports, is going to Manchester City.
Spoiled for choice, Haaland decided to go to Manchester City.
He has chosen to join Manchester City. He had his pick of which clubs to join.
For him, the team checked all the boxes.
The football Pep and City's been playing is unreal. You know, everyone knows it. It's the most beautiful football. And everyone knows it, and I wanted to be a part of that. And then with the best coach to be able to experience, to train with him was something I wanted.
A squad that was missing a number 9, someone to put the chances they create into the back of the net. City had also struggled in Europe. Despite being the most dominant side in England, every year they found new ways to lose. From the shocker against Lyon to losing in the final against Chelsea, City knew that they were missing something. The hope was that Haaland was the missing ingredient. Immediately, there was pressure on Haaland's shoulders.
No, it's pressure, of course. It's been pressure ever since I signed for City.
Despite his track record of scoring wherever he went, there were people who doubted whether the Norwegian can continue his form from the Bundesliga into the Premier League.
He may have actually picked the wrong club.
The doubters looked right after Haaland's debut in the Community Shield. He missed an absolute sitter, and City ended up losing 3-1 to Liverpool.
Didn't believe my own eyes, but it's gonna happen again, I think, in my career, so what can I say? Happens.
But these doubts were quickly silenced as soon as the actual season started. Haaland and City were a cheat code, and he couldn't stop scoring. Haaland made an impressive start by scoring twice in his league debut against West Ham United. Later that month, he netted his first hat-trick during a 4-2 victory over Crystal Palace. Just 4 days later, he secured another hat-trick against Nottingham Forest, setting a Premier League record as the quickest player to achieve 2 hat-tricks, surpassing the old mark by 14 matches. He shattered yet another record by scoring a hat-trick against Manchester United, becoming the first player to score 3 consecutive hat-tricks in home games for the first time in the league's history. By season's end, Haaland had accumulated 44 total goals and assists, tying Thierry Henry's record for the most goal contributions in a 38-game Premier League season. He clinched both the Premier League Golden Boot and the European Golden Shoe, having scored 36 goals in 35 games, thus setting a new record for the most goals in a Premier League season. Haaland's good form was continuing in the Champions League as well. 12 goals and 1 assist in the competition, as Haaland did exactly what he was signed for, helping City silence even Haaland's biggest haters. But now the discourse changed to Haaland's lack of involvement in big games.
Haaland on the field, who we've talked about so highly, not managing to make a proper impact in the game.
He's got to do it in the big moments though, mate. It's like doing it at Luton on a Tuesday night in the FA Cup. He's got to do it in a massive game. He's got to do it in a final.
Why am I doing it in a
final?
In a big
game.
Erling Haaland is yet to register a goal or an assist in a final for Man City.
While he was exceptional in the beginning of the Champions League campaign, his stats did decrease as he failed to register a goal or assist against Madrid in the semi-finals and Inter Milan in the final. There were certain matches where Haaland had single-digit touches in the game, barely being involved. As a result, even though he was in the Ballon d'Or conversation, there was a lack of respect towards his achievements in the season. The criticism continued into the 2024 season. The way people were talking about him, you might have forgotten that Haaland won a 2nd consecutive Golden Boot and helped City clinch another Premier League title. The guy scored 27 goals while missing chunks of the season due to injury, but all the talk was about his lack of involvement in the quarterfinal match against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Haaland is now a victim of his own success. When you reach the peaks he has reached so quickly, anything below it seems underwhelming. For most players, a 20-plus goal season is the highlight of their career. For Haaland, it's an average season. I think it has also hurt him that he hasn't been at any major international tournaments. If the world sees him doing what he does for City week in, week out for Norway, at the World Cup, at the Euros, on the biggest stages, he might get more appreciation. The reality is, Haaland is doing his job at the highest level. He still has a lot of time to develop certain areas of his game to get better, but his job is to put the ball in the back of the net, and he does it better than anyone else. Even when he isn't scoring, the amount of attention he gets from defenders helps City score goals. Rodri's goal against Inter doesn't happen if someone like Haaland isn't pushing the defense back. City also now have a direct outlet when playing out from the back. That kind of work isn't going to make Haaland look good individually, but it helps the team as a whole. Wherever he goes, whoever he plays for, you cannot stop Haaland from putting the ball into the back of the net. We are seeing a generational striker in front of us. I think it's time to give him more respect.